what I've been doing is I've been applying for several positions in teaching that,
Okay.
uh, and I've failed to even get interviews. But
Okay.
so I applied for all these positions. So a day in the life is I wake up and I immediately go to my email
Okay.
to see if I've gotten a response from a position on my email.
So what would you say is your feeling when you wake up? If you, one word to describe what that feeling is when you wake up. The first thing you do is feel.
When I'm feeling like, when I wake up and that is on my mind.
Yes.
Because there are times I just wake up and I'm not really thinking about it as much. I'm thinking about my, day.
Okay.
But anxious.
Okay. All right. So when you open that email, does your anxiety get reduced or does it get higher?
After I read the email, see that
right.
It gets lower.
Your anxiety is lower after reading your emails.
It's lower, yeah.
Okay. So is it based on?
Because my anxiety gets high from a sense of is something in there? Is
Okay.
something in there?
So it's a mystery.
I almost get excited thinking,
anxious and excited.
Yeah, let me check, and then once I check and it's not there, anxiety goes down, and I just then I start thinking about my day, like going to work out, breakfast, of course, all those things, and then I might start thinking about applying for more jobs.
Okay, so you say that it gets lower. If there's nothing in there, are you disappointed? Is it just another day of disappointment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then you say, you basically, do what we do. We get up and we have breakfast and get our day started and everything. So then the next thing that happens is you say you start applying again, but you say that you will rampantly apply. So what is the feeling that you get when you start to apply? Is it?
I just get I don't know. That's almost feeling of, before I start applying, it's boredom. I'm just bored, so I start applying again.
Okay. So you feel bored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you feel like maybe you got to do something to alleviate that anxiety, and that if you don't apply tomorrow, you're not going to open up that email and see something there?
Okay. Dr. Phil said something that's very profound to me. Okay. This is how I feel. Okay. He said he was talking to someone who was unemployed. Okay. And was having problems, having issues with paying his rent, his, buying food and stuff like that. Okay. Taking care of his kid, He said, if you are unemployed and you're looking for work, you should treat looking for work like it is a full-time job. He said you should apply, you should pound the pavement, and you should walk around looking for hiring signs and go in and talk to the people. He said it should be like a full-time job. Okay. So the way I look at it, I agree. If you're unemployed, I totally agree. And if you're not the person who's simplifying your life and trying to just get by on pennies or whatever the case may be, and you're having problems, if it is an issue that is affecting anything outside of yourself, I feel that's when you should do it. If you're unemployed and you are in a little studio apartment and you are affecting no one else, no one, then do what you want. But when it comes to, you can't pay your landlord, you can't buy your kids food, your wife is, working, you know what I mean? Then you need to find a job, and that's when you look for a job like that. Okay. So my mindset is, how am I going to find the right job? Even though I work, how am I going to find the right job, that job that I am passionate about and want, if I don't seek it out, just as he say an unemployment person should? He didn't give the advice of what I'm saying, but this is how I feel. I'm like, if I'm not constantly trying to find something, that I would be satisfied with, how am I ever going to get it, and how will I ever be satisfied? That's what gets me to applying and doing things like that, so much.
Okay, which is good. I mean, that's a positive way to think about it, if that's the way that you're thinking about it. So where does the interference of the impatience come in then? So it sounds to me like if it really was that challenging, motivational thought that was running through your head of, hey, this is my full-time job now, to look for this job that I really want, it would lessen the anxiety, it would increase your patience, because that's a positive way of thinking, because you thought about it, you're acting on it, and you're doing everything that you possibly can to get what it is that you want. But instead, you're actually coming to me saying that patience is almost, your letter number A, or is the deepest concern for you.
It's because it's an anxiety. Although I feel like that is what I should be doing, there's also a level of anxiety in it.
Okay.
That's it. It is not, I feel motivated and I feel like I want, but I'm just, it's also affecting, it's affecting my mindset on, other things, because I haven't gotten it yet. Okay. So, anxiety levels are really high.
Okay. So you believe that if you're, once that comes to fruition, if you look back historically, will you become more patient? And will your thought process be,
once it comes into fruition? Yes. If I can finally settle down with the position that that I've been seeking, I think my anxiety levels will go down. The problem in that is also, though, is that, boy, I'm just peeling the layers back, aren't I? Because I'm searching and searching and searching, because there are money issues.
Sure.
I have money issues, but there's other things I want to do.
Right.
There's I am now I'm almost in a position where I talk to the Lord about, what do you want me to do? Because you are not giving me, because I am well qualified. It's not that I'm overqualified, because because these are positions that require the education. So I feel like, what do you want me to do? Because if you have not given me this position or a position in it yet, where I have had opportunities that I just knew that I would get the position, and something happened where I didn't, I feel like, maybe he's leading me somewhere else. It's a lot. It's a lot. It just and that's what makes me, I talked earlier about going further away, but that's what brings me back in, thinking maybe I'm not supposed to be doing. I wasted or not even wasted, because there's always a reason. I took all this time in the past to get my education, to get to somewhere I thought I wanted to be at. But what if that is not his plan for me?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at now. So I've been trying to figure out, what is my purpose? What is his plan for me? So,
Okay.
and that's another thing about patience. That's what I'm talking about.
So, you've, a couple of words that you've used heavily is anxiety and patience.
Mm-hmm.
You say patience is, your number one issue. So would you say patience and anxiety rank the same on a level of 1 to 10?
They rank. I would say they rank the same, but I feel the impatience more than I feel the anxiety, if that makes sense.
Okay, so the frequency is more for patience than the anxiety, but they're rated the same.
But they're definitely rated the same.
So would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most severe, how would you rate anxiety and patience? Overall of your life.
So A being a 10.
No. Let's do it on a scale of 1 to 10.
Let's just do.
So 10 is the most severe.
Because, like I said, B.
0 would have no effect on your life whatsoever. So 1 to 10, 10 being the most severe, how would you rank anxiety and patience if you rated them both equally?
It would have to be, it would have to be upwards of 8.
Okay, so let's give each one of those an 8. But the difference between the patience is that it's more frequent. And is the duration longer as well? So you may feel anxious for a moment, or is that basically how it feels? It comes and goes?
Yes,
more of a coming
because
and going?
I do things that alleviates the anxiety.
Okay,
I go
so
work out.
Okay.
And,
so you have
play,
coping strategies.
Yes. I play my words with friends. That kind of alleviates it.
It alleviates the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But would you say that anxiety and patience are the same thing? Impatience? Let's not put in. But you're saying
they're the same thing, or would I rate them?
You rank them the same thing. Do you feel like they're two different things?
Yes.
Okay. So for your anxiety, when anxiety comes upon you, it doesn't last as long. It's not as frequent, and it doesn't last as long. So you have coping strategies for those. But when you're impatient, it's frequent. Okay, so we would, even though you rank that an 8, it has frequency and duration that last longer. So that would be your number one problem. So if you have coping strategies for the anxiety that is short in duration and short acting, what could be some of the coping strategies for being impatient?
Although they are two different things, I think the coping strategies could be the same. Exercise. The biggest thing I think, and I don't practice it, and I wish and I need to, is mindfulness. I feel, if I just meditate, close my eyes, relax, if I, another thing I have done, is, and it alleviates